Hmm. Hmm. How you doing, Alon?
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I see Billy up there.
I'm doing okay.
Good.
Oh, we have a lot of people here.
Well, we're up to 10 all of a sudden from 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Eloise. How you doing? Okay.
Good. How are you?
I'm good, dear. I got your email, and that was a good suggestion. We will cover some different African American artists in the mix. I'd be happy to. One of them was Joshua Tanner, right?
Henry Osler Tanner.
Oh, Tanner. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I'll try to gather some images and stuff for him next week, and we can talk about them. Or he mainly did like collage, right?
No, he did paintings. I'm not familiar with his collages.
Okay. I'll look at his work because I might try to pull some for Wednesday for the painting class. Okay. All right. But thank you for that. All right. Anyway, some people have sent some things in. Has anybody got anything they want to talk about? Anything that they've been watching, hearing, music, film, books, or anything else that they want to talk about real quick? Yeah, everybody's muted. Let's unmute them. Okay. Okay. Anybody got anything they want to talk about? Anything they've been looking at? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go over a couple of pieces that folks sent in over the last couple of weeks, and we can look at them and talk about them a little bit. Let's see. Rebecca's not here, is she? No. Okay. All right. So we'll look at some other stuff. All right. Let's see. Okay. So let's start. Let's start down here. Okay. We'll go back. We'll talk about that ugly picture. Okay, this was Elsie Jester. And remember we did the girl with pearl earring? Yeah. And Elsie took the approach of, rather than doing a painting or a drawing, she did she actually did a figure out of a styrofoam head that you'd use, at the base for a wig. And she painted it and then, dressed it appropriately. And she's got a couple different shots. And I thought this turned out really well. And it's a little different take, on that painting. And it's always interesting to see what people do, when they take it and they interpret it, in their own way. This is another of hers, and this was, it looks like a pastel, and it was the ballerina that Degas did. And then we're going to pick on Ilan. Ilan? Okay.
I am here.
All right. Tell us a little bit about this.
This was like I rescued a panel that I did with some mishmash of colors and I didn't like. So I repainted it white, and then I did abstract, something that caught my eye.
Okay. And how large is this?
What?
How big is this?
It's, I don't know, 12 or 15 by 16. It's small, not that big.
Oh, okay. So
Maybe
this is
20.
mhm. Okay. So really kind of not a big piece, but just kind of a small piece.
No, I just, instead of throwing the old one out, I just did this to save the panel.
Okay. And is this acrylic or what is it?
Acrylic. I'm doing everything in acrylic.
Okay. All right. And it looks like you put it on with probably like a palette knife.
Yeah, this was done mainly with a palette knife.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did some corrections with
Let me see if she's available. You can get her
and then I did like this, the lines I did with the marker.
I'm sorry?
We're going to talk
Oh,
about
okay.
the
So you
surgery.
use like
Trying to figure out whether to do the form after the cataract surgery or before. So that's-
Yeah, like
You want me to come in?
Yeah.
Okay.
all right,
Let
hang
me
on.
check everything.
I'm gonna stop for a minute because I'm gonna mute everybody because you got a lot of background noise. Okay. Good. All right. That way we can hear people when they do talk.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, so you're saying that you did the outlines with like a marker?
Yeah, just the lines with the marker or something of this nature.
Okay. And did you do those afterward or did you do them before?
I did them afterward.
Afterward, okay. And then how did you keep your lines fairly straight? I mean, did you tape anything off or did you?
It's like was my lucky day.
It was your lucky day? Yeah.
Yeah, my lucky day. They didn't come up so good, but I corrected it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that it will look like half decent, you know.
Yeah. Well, you did a good job, keeping all your lines fairly straight and keeping your shapes kind of
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, that was a pretty good piece of
It
work.
was a good day, you know.
Okay. We all need those every once in a while.
Yeah.
All right. So and then now this was a collage as well, right?
This was a collage as well, and I added the blue colors to it, and I took the inspiration from a guy, I think from Australia, that did some dancers based on the Degas project, you know.
Okay. All right.
So it just was an inspiration. I said, everybody did some work on the dancer. I need to do something too. And I like to work more on the abstract or collage ways anyway. And with your advice to repaint with some gel on it, and I did maybe 5, 6, 7 times, it helped a lot.
Okay. Yeah, just kind of hiding that cut edge in there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we looked at this last week, or not last week, but the week before.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, you still had that hard edge where the paper was cut, and it was really, very clearly apparent. And so now, a lot of that has gone away. So you really do see the figure and the movement and all of that.
It is in my in-home museum hanging out now, so she's doing good.
Yeah. Another one for the collection. Okay.
Yeah, and this one, the other, this one, I didn't know what to do with the girl with the earring. So I started Googling her to get some inspiration. And that's if you open it up, we can see what happened.
You mean
This
oh,
one, this one, this one.
right? Okay. Yeah,
So
I like this one a lot. You
this one, I just started with the girl with the earring.
hmm
I found her either in an email or in Google. I found her with the mask. So I started looking around. All of a sudden, everybody is with masks and stuff.
okay. Right.
So I put them together like I like to do, like a little boy in kindergarten,
hmm
like putting pieces together, and it came out pretty good.
Okay. So you didn't add the mask to these images. They were already
No,
there.
no, no. I just found all those images as is
Mhm.
in Google and copied them and enlarged them, decreased them, and reprinted them several times. Till I was happy.
hmm Yeah, this one turned out really well. And you know, I like the fact, you know, I didn't know whether you put the mask on them or not, but you know,
No.
it makes it really relevant to what's going on. I particularly like the screen with the shopping cart full of toilet paper.
Oh yeah, this was unbelievable. I started with him. I said, I'll put just the scream. So he sees the girl with the mask, he will scream. But then I found his picture with the toilet paper. So
Okay, well that was a good take on that, because that's definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to that. I know, you know, we spent several weeks, you know, looking at the stores to see if any of them had any toilet paper, and they didn't for a long
Yeah.
time. So
I have another one similar to this that I did this morning,
hmm
but I didn't send it to you yet.
oh, okay. Well,
I did one for my son for his, can you see me? Where am I?
I can see
Oh,
just a little.
No, it's like a similar structure
Okay.
with I did for my son for Father's Day. So with
Okay.
my grandchildren and this, so, and I mailed it to him. It's a small panel, like 8x8. So.
All right. Well, you know, maybe you
No,
can,
no, my wife sent me to buy something for our son
Mhm.
for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Because now he's older and he's a father, has kids. So then let's send him something. I went to a couple of stores. There was nothing to even look at.
Mhm.
So on the way back, I was thinking, oh, I'll do a painting for him. And I did this one. So it came up pretty good. I mailed it, so I'm happy.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good, because you got a little creative on that. So maybe you can
Yeah.
post that, you know, either later this week or next week. Okay. Just send us a photo of it. All right. John, are you here?
I am here.
Oh, okay. You're out there somewhere, huh? Okay. So, all right. So this is a photo of some rocks in the stairway. And where is this, John?
This is Racine, Wisconsin. That's Lake Michigan, where the shoreline is rapidly getting eroded by the lake.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's the same area some of those other ones that I did.
Okay. All right. So from there, you did a watercolor,
Correct.
and this is I think this is the one you sent me today.
No, the one today had masking tape on all four sides.
Oh, okay. All right.
It started to curl.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I've actually reworked this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what you sent me, I guess, last week.
Initially, right? Yeah.
Okay, and then this is the one from today.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here's a thought. You know,
Is this just watercolor?
Yes. Yeah, all watercolor.
Very nice.
Did you use the watercolor pencils in this at all, or
No,
no? Just all watercolor. Okay. My thinking is, because you were asking some questions about it, the stairways are really dominant here because
Right.
of the contrast.
Uh-huh.
And I think you need to figure out, really what's your point of interest? What do you really want people to see the most?
Well, probably the rock in the foreground.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I would kind of agree with that. I'd say if I were going to make something really dominant, it would be that rock.
But then I didn't like it because it was pretty much right in the center.
Uh-huh. So here's my thought. Okay. I would probably soften the stairs by just, floating some water over them.
Right.
And then kind of
Right.
diffuse a little bit. Looks like you've already kind of done that with the house. And
Yes, I did. Right.
but then that would leave that rock with like sharper, cleaner edges. And the thing I would probably do is I would probably find some like really good, strong darks, on, some of the faces of the rock that are more in shadow, like up in here. I think you can push some of those values darker.
Okay.
And that would give the rock overall more contrast. And depending on how much you soften the stairway back, it should become more dominant. The other thing you could do is you could introduce more color, into that rock. It doesn't have to be gray.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, blues, violets, greens,
Right.
Even like browns or reds or things like that. And again, I think it would pull your eye more to that as being, sort of the key thing that we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
Very good.
And I guess that's kind of about all I would say about that one.
Okay. I wasn't too keen on the composition either.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward.
Right. Yeah, it just seems off.
Well, yeah, just because of the shape coming across this way, it somehow it doesn't really kind of continue and flow, over to this house. It some.
Oh, that little road like behind them, leading up to the house, is supposed to be the continuation of that slopes down and up again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, but somehow it's like
It doesn't work.
It's the edge of your cliff or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't quite connect up.
Yeah.
Right. So I would kind of maybe do some thumbnail sketches and work with that. The other thing, if I were going to recompose that, and I really wanted to make that rock look more dominant, I might make that a little taller and actually have it kind of break that line up here. So it
right.
really did move forward.
I like that.
Yeah, and then because again, it's like the size relationships between the house, the stairs, and the rock are kind of similar, right?
Right, and that's what bothered me.
Yeah, and so playing with the scale of those, I think you could, make those rocks and things push much further forward.
Right.
Okay. So,
thank you.
Yeah, just some ideas.
That's what I was looking for. Thanks.
Yeah. And then we have
Beverly. Did you hear me?
No, I didn't. Yes.
Okay. Can you go back to his painting, please?
Sure. This one right here.
Yes, and just to show you how people see things differently.
Yeah.
It's abstract, and I thought that was a truck and not a house. And when you said a house, I said a house because I see two headlights. I see a windshield, and like an abstract, maybe the way the sun is hitting on the grill, but I saw a truck that was parked.
Okay. All right.
You don't see it?
No, I see it as a house.
Okay. I see a truck.
I'll add a truck for you, Beverly.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I like it.
So my question is it a Ford or a Chevy?
It's a Silverado.
Oh, it's a Silverado, so it's a Chevy.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool.
Moving on.
All right. So this is Jeanette sent this in. Jeanette, yeah. Now, is she here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't see you, but okay. So tell us a little bit about this.
Well, the piece that I'm focusing on is the one that has the lights in it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What it is a I blew up a balloon
Okay.
and I took green garden jute twine
Mm-hmm.
and Mod Podge,
Oh.
and I wrapped it around the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And I just added more layers of the Mod Podge to it.
Right.
And so it stuck to the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
And it took about 2 days to dry. And once it dried, what I did was I poked holes in the balloon and it popped.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled it out of the smaller end of the sculpture, which left the shell of the balloon.
Right.
And then I had 2 sets of little battery operated LED lights, and I stuck it inside of the smaller end of the balloon and turn it on. So now it's the night light in our living room area.
Okay.
And it makes these beautiful shadows as you see on the wall.
Yeah. So you almost treated it like a paper mache.
Almost like a paper mache, yes.
Right. Yeah, but instead of using paper, you use the twine and then you use the Mod Podge. Now, Mod Podge is basically just acrylic.
Yes.
You know, so that made all the string and everything stiff.
Yes.
Now you said, so at the lower end where you had the balloon coming out, you left that open so that you had a way of putting the lights and things in it?
Yes, so it's open. It's a small opening, and it's a long string of lights that I got from the Dollar Tree. I love the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
And it's battery operated. And so I was able to stick the lights inside it, and behind the balloon on my books is the battery pack. So the battery pack is not inside of the sculpture, it's behind the sculpture.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, but it's a battery operated light, so there's no cord or anything like that to it.
Well, the cord is from the battery pack to where the lights are inside of the sculpture. So you can't see it again because it's behind it sitting on top of the books.
Okay. Now, is that battery pack, is that something that you would actually put like a AA battery in or something, or is it a battery pack that you charge?
It actually, each one takes 2 AA batteries.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well, that's a nice sculptural project, and now you got a nice decorative lamp too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
2 for the price of 1.
Yeah. And
Netta, I love your work.
Yeah.
Thank
What
you.
color is it? Is it green?
Yes, it is. It's green jute, garden twine. You know, it's a twine that gardeners put around the stakes to keep their tomato plants standing upright.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
Very nice.
so other than the jute itself, though, there's not like a paper lining or anything.
Nope. There's nothing else in it. Again, the balloon, I had the balloon inflated, and it took 2 to 3 good days for it to totally dry.
Mm-hmm.
And once it dried, the balloon was really adhered to the twine. And so it took several pokes at it to pull it out. And once I was able to deflate the balloon, it just pulled away from the jute and I was able to pull it out the smaller end.
Yeah. I'm kind of, I'm wondering if you took strips of like rice paper
Mm-hmm.
and you coated your balloon in the rice paper and then you used the Mod Podge and then added the string, to add more strength to it. And that
Okay.
way it's kind of opaque. And then when you light it, you don't really see the light, inside, but it lights up, the actual light.
Yes, I understand, like a filter.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it's very sturdy. It's not flimsy. It's real sturdy. Let's see. Hold on. It's very sturdy like a bulb, and that's the battery packs.
Here, I still can't see you, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I've got to go through the list here. Oh, I see you now. Okay. There you are.
That's it, and it's very sturdy.
Okay.
I knocked it on the table.
Okay.
And the 2 battery packs, and they're coming from that end.
All right. Huh. And then looking at it when it's not lit up, it looks more solid and more opaque.
Yeah, it is very solid.
Yeah. Then when you look at it, in the photograph when it's lit up.
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
It's very solid.
Yeah. Anyway,
Creative.
that was a nice creative project.
Yeah, very creative.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. June, are you here? June Wang?
Oh, that's pretty.
I haven't seen her yet. Maybe she's not here this afternoon. Okay. Yeah, we'll move on. Naomi, are you here? Okay, no response from Naomi. I got some pieces from her. I saw Surin. Okay. So
Oh my goodness.
this is a painting that Surin did. It's called The Wedding Crasher. And did anybody watch Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Surin started this in our acrylic painting class at the Benson Center, and he's come a long way with it. And I think it works a lot better now. As far as the background sits to the back, the middle ground moves forward, the dinosaur and the wedding party are all in the foreground, and the contrast seems to be appropriate between all of them.
Yes.
So it works really well, Surin. Are you there?
Well, can you help me by
Yeah, I can hear you now.
finding flaws? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Can you help me by finding flaws or areas that I should improve?
I would say right now I'd leave it alone.
No, leave it alone. But as far as defects or flaws, where it should are there anywhere that I should pay attention?
Well, I mean, you've resolved most of the big issues, that you started off with. Remember before you had the kind of the middle ground and background, and it actually sort of, came forward and kind of flattened the piece out. So now you've got, a lot of depth and distance. The only thing I would comment on, and we've talked about this before, is your brush strokes and how you tend to maybe use the same brush or whatever. But the brush strokes back here in the background, even though the contrast is lower, they seem to be about the same size and a similar pattern as you've got here in the middle ground and on the dinosaur and on the ground. And so, a lot of your paintings have this kind of similar like pattern running through them. And my suggestion is when you get back here into the background and things, use smaller strokes. You know, if that means, you know, pick up a smaller brush and do that, you know. But your paint strokes here and your strokes here and your strokes here can't all be the same size. Okay?
Yeah, I have tendency to use the same size brush.
Yeah, so you need to maybe change that habit. But I mean, other than that, I mean, that's the only, you know, comment that I would make on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this all painted or is it collage?
It's acrylic painting.
Yeah, it's all painted in acrylic.
Okay.
Wedding party.
I was wondering about the figures because the figures look so similar. I thought it might have been a collage of the figures.
Yeah, no, he painted, and yeah, it seems like all the women and all the guys, you use basically the same model for.
Right.
You
Yeah.
could, okay, you could use a little diversity.
Yeah.
You know, have some blondes, brunettes, redheads, you know, different ethnic groups, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they all seem to be, you know, either related to each other or the same person, almost. You know,
I think that makes it more humorous because they all look alike, you know, they're
Yeah.
running. So that's
yeah, they do. Yeah,
it makes it comical and comic book like. So it's funny. It's a funny piece and it's really nice.
it is. Yeah, it's a fun take on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got one more piece here that I want to talk about, and this is from Wanda, and she did a drawing, and this was, I think she said that she had done this from life. The background she added, but she has a way of kind of creating designs and patterns and things in her pieces that are really kind of nice and very contemporary, very modern. Is she here? Wanda, are you around?
Don't think so.
Okay, all right.
She was having internet trouble.
Was she? Okay. Well, maybe we'll talk about that next week, or maybe later this week, like on Friday, since it is a drawing, okay? I wanted to show you kind of what I was working on over the weekend. You know, I started this piece, and this was actually, it's the view off of my back deck. And Linda, you should be familiar with this, but
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm trying to unmute
Yeah.
It's not my computer, and I have no idea how to work.
well, you've evidently got it working because I can hear you. Okay.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, yes, I'm familiar with that view, and I love that view off the back.
Yeah. Well, this is at the very early stages. You know, I tend to go out there and drink my coffee in the morning, watch the sun.
Mhm.
It's
Oh, yeah.
a nice little ritual, actually.
It's a nice relaxing. Is this watercolor or watercolor?
It's oil.
It's oil. It's oil.
Yeah, and this is it's about a 24 by 36, so it's
Oh, it's nice size.
not real big, but you know, fairly good size. And this is, you know, the basic, you know, just, you know,
I
blonde.
like it the way it is. I mean, you can change it if you want, but I love the way it's very fresh and, of course.
Charles, can you explain the process you took? Like, for example, where did you paint first and next layer and all that?
Well, the first thing I did was I tried to find, you know, the big shapes of the trees. And since there's so many trees out there, you know, trying to begin to layer and lay in different blocks of values for the trees that were in the distance versus in the middle ground versus in the foreground. And, you know, just trying to find compositionally where those were and break them up into blocks of value. And then from there, I painted the sky and, you know, put some indication of the ground that I could see in there. But this has got a long way to go still yet. And
Quite nice already. So that's
yeah,
a nice, fresh feeling.
Yeah, I'm happy with the color. But
So
again,
you,
there's things I want to pull forward, things I want to push back.
so you began with a block of a top possible trees?
Yeah, like the big masses of
Okay.
green in here, and you know, an indication for the ridge, you know, in the back, and then, you know, laid in a block of color for
Okay.
the mid ground, and then put in these darker shapes because they're closer to you and they were more in shadow.
This is Charles's painting off of the back porch where he lives. See how you
So this
know
is
that view.
so this is one day. You know, this is all just in one day. And again,
Just
this is
looking at it from the
a
deck.
big canvas, so it took a little while to, you know, cover that much ground in there. But it was fun to do.
This
And
is 1 day's worth of painting, which would be what, maybe 4 hours?
no, it's about 6.5 or 7 hours.
Oh, it is. Okay. It's
Yeah,
really out
I stayed out there all day.
there. Uh-huh.
Those were nice
You
days.
say,
This
Huh?
looks like the morning light, so it looks
Yeah.
like the morning light.
Yeah, that's
you
what,
said you blocked in,
yes.
you said you blocked in the trees first and then the sky later?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, and
Wow.
it's fairly easy to see when you see that those lighter colors were laid on top of
Mm-hmm.
the darker. See? So, you know, I put that was a big block of kind of this muted green, and then I went in with some kind of pinky, kind of red color, and then the more orange on top of it. And so I just kept working, you know, one layer, one color over another.
You
I
did
like the sky.
did you use smaller brushes when you did next layers?
Yeah, I use different sized brushes. You know, I basically started off with a really large flat brush. And when I laid these shapes in, you know, they weren't originally this shape, you know, it was just a big block of green. And when I laid the sky in on top of it, then I worried about trying to, you know, break up the edge and make it look more like leaf. You know, you can see it fairly clear here.
About what size brush when you did the detail?
Oh, the detail, it was probably, well, I was using a Egbert, and it was probably about a number 8.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you
Egbert.
can get like a real fine point on an Egbert, you know. and
Okay, great.
A lot of little brush strokes and stuff.
Mhm.
So anyway, that's one thing that I did. But you know, I've had this idea knocking around in my head for about 4 years now, and I had actually originally started a painting, and this is the sketch that I did over the weekend, and it's kind of about, you know, starting over again, you know, another phase of life. It's kind of like sitting there in front of a blank canvas. It's like, you know, what are you going to do? You know, where are you going to go from here? And so, you know, I did that sketch as an
Is
idea.
that a self-portrait?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, it's as
Are you looking down from the top since your leg looks so short?
yeah. Well, I do have kind of short legs. You know?
Okay.
It looks like the top is much bigger than the
Yeah,
bottom.
I wouldn't say that I have the best proportions in the world. I tend to be a little kind of, you know, wide and thick.
That's a
And-
great profile.
Did you paint that from a photo or from a mirror?
Well, actually, I had Maria take a picture of me from the back because I couldn't, you know, I couldn't see what I looked like in the back anyway. So I took a couple poses. I was out, you know, on the deck, and I had her shoot some photos of me.
Okay.
And so I went from there. And this is the underpainting right now. And as I said, about 4 years ago, I started a painting that was similar to this, but the figure was very different. Of course, you know, at that 4 years ago, I had a lot more hair on my head, and I was probably a few pounds lighter at that point. So anyway, this is me now, and you know, for me, it's kind of like, okay, you know, I'm getting ready to retire, and I'm looking at, okay, where am I going to go from here? So this is kind of a narrative painting, and you know, I'm not exactly sure exactly how it's going to develop and go forward, but, you know, I had this idea of over in the window, you see a reflection of the model, you know, in the glass. So it's more than one figure in the piece. So that's kind of where I'm at with it at this point. And right now I've got a